There's a lesson that I began learning when I was about 7 or 8 years old. I was playing outside with my friend from down the street whose name was Billy. And my mother came to the door and she said, "It's time to come in for supper." And I said to my mom, "Mom, could Billy join us for dinner tonight?" And my mother said, "Oh, Billy, you'd be more than welcome if it's okay with your mother and father." And Billy said, "Mrs. O'Connor, I know it's okay because my mom and dad are away and the babysitter is going to make me a peanut butter sandwich whenever I get back home." So my mother welcomed Billy into our house. And I was so proud. This is wonderful. My parents, they're really welcoming my friend to have dinner at our table with my family. So Billy and I hurried and we got into the table and sat down, and my dad was already there. And my dad said, "Billy, I'd like to welcome you to our family table, to our family. But I see that you and Tim first need to go and wash your hands." I learned a lesson. My dad welcomed Billy to our family, but he also made it clear that there were some expectations in order to sit at that table, namely, wash your hands before you eat. And so with our supernatural family, the church, all are welcome. But welcome to what? To a family where you will find love and respect, but a family that also has some expectations. And these expectations, they come from God. God has revealed his expectations to us in the scriptures, the Bible. God has taught us his expectations through his son Jesus. God has put in every human heart the natural law. God has given us the church to teach us, to lead us, and to guide us. We find in today's gospel these lines that Jesus spoke, teaching us. Jesus told us, "Whoever loves me will keep my word. And the word that you hear comes not from me, but from God who sent me. And the advocate, the Holy Spirit, whom the Father will send in my name, will teach you everything and remind you of all that I have taught you." God has given us membership in his family, the church. And God has expectations for us as God welcomes us in. What are some identifying characteristics of God's family, the church? Well, first off, I would point out the church is Catholic, which means universal, which means everyone is welcome. The church is one. We have one person, Jesus Christ, and his message, his teaching for us that unites us in him. The church is apostolic. Jesus gave his teaching to his apostles, and his apostles very carefully have handed down the teachings of Jesus to us. And so the mission of the church, of the family of God, is to invite everyone everyone is welcome, and also to challenge members of his family, the church, to live according to the message, the teachings of Jesus Christ. Now, I have to admit that this balance between welcome and challenge can sometimes create some tensions. Just like that night in my family home, when my father welcomed Billy to the table, but at the same time told Billy and me, I've got some expectations for you to sit at this table. You got to come with clean hands. Wash your hands before you eat. And so the church, following Jesus Christ, does that. Blessed John Paul II, Pope John Paul II, had said one time that the best way we can show love to somebody else is to tell them the truth. What he was really doing is echoing words of St. Paul, to teach the truth with love. Jesus always did that. He taught the truth with love. And the church always needs to do that, to teach the truth with love. And so as members of the family of Jesus Christ, we can't judge other people. However, we can judge the acts of other people. We need to. Is that right or is that wrong? Is that virtue or is that sinful? But there's that old adage, and it's so correct, when we're told, hate the sin, but love the sinner. All are welcome in this family, the family of God that also has God's expectations for us. For example, the church always welcomes, loves, and respects people in business, business leaders. However, the church would never approve business leaders paying an unjust wage to migrant workers. The church welcomes, loves, respects people who have issues with alcohol. But the church would never approve their going out and getting drunk. The church welcomes, loves, respects a young couple that falls in love. But the church will challenge them about their decision to live together before they get married. The church welcomes, loves, and respects a woman who has had an abortion and the father of her child who may have encouraged that abortion. But the church will unite with them in encouraging them to seek the forgiveness of the Lord and become whole again. The church welcomes, loves, respects a man or a woman who has a same-sex attraction. And the church will remind them that the condition of homosexuality is not a sin. The condition is not a sin. However, God has a teaching that sexual acts, sexual activity is reserved for a man and woman who are united in a lifelong, life-giving, faithful, loving union of marriage. The church welcomes, loves, and respects people who are wealthy, people who are privileged, But the church prophetically preaches, and sometimes uncomfortably, about justice and charity for the poor and for the underprivileged. So, we're part of a church that welcomes everybody. All are welcome in this family. But we are not part of a church that says, and anything goes. 2 weeks ago in the gospel, Jesus described himself very tenderly as the Good Shepherd. I am the Good Shepherd, he told us. And what does a shepherd do? A shepherd cares for the flock, tends the flock, feeds the flock, leads the flock, searches for the lost. A good shepherd doesn't just let the sheep go any place they want to go or do whatever they want to do. But he goes out, if some sheep strays, he goes out and search to bring them back. If one is injured, he cares for that sheep until it's well. But he wants the sheep to be together in security, in safety. Jesus Christ is the Good Shepherd, and he does that well all the time. As a shepherd after Christ, I'm always still learning how to love everyone and how not to compromise the truth. And I'll bet you're learning those lessons right along with me. To teach the truth always with charity. All are welcome. We are welcome. God has brought us together as his family, and as members of his family, God has expectations of each one of us. So here again, what Jesus told us in today's gospel. Jesus teaches, whoever loves me keeps my word. And the word that you hear comes not from me, but from my Father who sent me. The Advocate, the Holy Spirit, whom the Father has promised to send, will teach you everything and will guide you to remember all that I have told you.